All right, everyone, I made my return to betting this weekend, and you can certainly still win in the CAW era. Handle by wager here. This is actually all from Friday, so we'll go Friday the 12th to the 14th. Just Friday and Saturday betting with win bets. About 70% of my bets were win bets, made a slight profit with win bets. Exacta bets made a pretty significant profit. Hit a nice trifecta, made a place bet on a chalk somewhere. Super high five. I went after that Woodbine carryover. Woodbine had a big carryover for the last race of their meet in a super high five. I tried to hit that, almost did. I'll show you that ticket. So here was the Woodbine super high five on closing day. They had like this $2 million carryover in it, and I thought it was worth taking a little shot at. Played it for 20 cents. Singled the 7 on top with the 2-8 in the second slot and the 2-6-8 in the third slot. Then basically a wide spread for 4th and 5th. Okay, so you could see that the 7, who was our single on top, did win by 4 1/4 lengths at 5-1. I needed the 2 or the 8 for the second slot. The 8 come in third. For the third slot, I needed the 2-6-8. The 6 was 4th, and then obviously had the 9 covered. Basically, the 4 at 14-1 surged from last into second. Had the 4 finished 4th instead of second, we would have hit this thing. For 20 cents, it paid over $1,200. 7 did his job, won nice at 5-1 as the single on top, but the 4 ruined the party by rallying too strongly and getting second instead of 4th. So that was our shot at the Woodbine super high five glory. All right, so yeah, that was where the super high five $16 come in here. Then this bottom thing here, pick 3 late, $9. Oaklawn Park has a new $3 pick 3 in their last 3 races. I tried one of those $3 pick 3 things for $9 and didn't hit it. So those were the bets I made in my return to betting here in the last 2 days. Over 70% of the bets I made were in the win pool. CAW activity is most visible in the win pool because that's where people see like these late odds swings and these crazy odds moves. But the win pool is probably the safest place for bettors to be. Yes, you see the odd swings there, and yes, they're there. But a lot of times they're just trying to get rebates on short price horses. They will move some horses that they like a lot sharply late in the win pool. But of all the places, I think that's like the safe haven from these guys. The pools that you want to avoid are the pools that you would think that logic would say would be the most attractive pools. All these pick 4s and these pick 5s with low takeouts. I really do believe the CAWs make their hay in the pick 4 and pick 5 pools. They've got like this massive team, and they're so well prepared for the pick 4s and pick 5s. They just chop up those pools like you wouldn't believe. So I try to avoid them. There's a lot of work that needs to go on for an individual to play a pick 4 or pick 5. You need to do like a preliminary handicapping of the races. Then when the scratches start coming in around 9:30, then you got to really study the races after the scratches come in, and a whole lot of work involved there. And they're going to have the jump on you in those pools. Not only are they going to have the jump, they're going to play these massive hedge tickets that just carve it up. And those tickets effectively raise the takeout significantly in those pools. So the CAW activity most visible in the win pool, but probably the safest places to be from them are win pools at bigger tracks. And make no mistake about it, the premium tracks, the high quality tracks are the best tracks to bet, and the best time to bet them are on the weekends. When the weekend warriors, the individual bettors that work all week and then want to play some horses, they're going to play the bigger tracks on the weekends. In those weekend pools, it's not going to be as much of a CAW hornet's nest as like a Monday or Tuesday. When you're playing the Monday and Tuesday races even at the better Monday and Tuesday tracks like Parks and Mahoning, you're walking right into a hornet's nest. It's got to be about 50% CAW money, and then of the remaining 50% money, there are some very sharp individual bettors who like Parks, who like Mahoning. So you're up against like 50% CAW money. And then of the 50%, you got those rebate guys that really focus on those 2 tracks. I mean, you're just walking into a hornet's nest if you're betting on Monday and Tuesday. Unless like your sole focus is Parks or Mahoning. You don't want to be there. Of the major winter tracks, Gulfstream Park is clearly my best track. You see here a 26.8% profit on my bets there. With win bets, 17.68% profit. With exacta bets, 42.06% profit. With trifecta bets, a 78.74% profit. Try to pick 3 there, no luck. Try to pick 6 there, no luck. Basically, Gulfstream Park has very good winter racing, and that is a track that you want to focus on. Aqueduct, a good winter track. I've shown in the past year that I got a 6% profit there. Turfway Park, that's another winter track that's worth focusing on. You can see here a 42% profit, 42.9% profit with win bets, 62% profit with exacta bets. Turfway Park's pretty tough, but you know, if you're going to spot play, you can really hunt around and find a good live long shot there. And then Tampa Bay Downs and Oaklawn, those are 2 very good winter signals and been pretty competent at both places. Tampa Bay hit a nice try down there anyway, but bet over 6,000 there in the last year and, you know, a slight profit. Oaklawn bet over 5,400 there. 4% profit. So I would say of the winter tracks that are running right now, you're going to want to focus on Gulfstream. You're going to want to focus on Aqueduct. You're going to want to focus on Turfway Park. You're going to want to focus on Tampa Bay Downs. And you're going to want to focus on Oaklawn Park. What you're not going to want to focus on is Mahoning and Parks on Monday and Tuesday, or any of the smaller tracks that run on Monday and Tuesday. You are just walking right straight into a hornet's nest if you're playing those tracks on Monday and Tuesday. I'm convinced of it. All right, you want to see a bloodbath? This is what I've done at Parks over the last 2 years on, I usually bet them on Mondays and Tuesdays when no one else is running. 45.7% loss. I mean, you're walking into a hornet's nest with Parks. No one could tell me otherwise. You play Parks on a Monday and Tuesday, you're playing against some sharp elements. You're playing against the CAWs, and you're playing against individual retailer bettors who focus on a track like Parks and are very well versed with it. Parks on a Monday and a Tuesday is not the place to be betting your money. And yes, I do live in the state of Pennsylvania, but Parks is in Philadelphia. It's a 7-hour drive from my house. It's completely as far on the other side of the state of Pennsylvania as you can be from me. It isn't a track that I really ever focused on and have a great handle on, but good Lord, man, good Lord. But anyway, these are just tips that I have for people in the CAW era. I would say focus on win betting, and some exacta and trifecta betting, but only if you feel very confident and really like the race that you're betting, like you feel like you have some good advantage on the race. Don't force exacta and trifecta bets. Now, if you're living in a state where you can get rebates, Pennsylvania, you cannot get rebates in this state. Some weird thing to do with state laws. They won't give you rebates. They'll max you out at 3%. That's it. But if you are in a state where you could get good rebates, and there are plenty of states. I know Ohio. I'm 25 minutes from Ohio. If I was in Ohio, I could make an attempt, like a serious attempt at trying to make money betting horses. You know, if you're in a state like Tennessee or Delaware, there's plenty of other states. I think Kentucky, I think you get real good rebates if you're a Kentucky resident. Not sure about that, though. But if you're living in a state like Pennsylvania that really limits you and you're in the CAW era, I would say just focus on win betting, exacta betting, trifecta betting. You're going to want to focus on the premium tracks. It's very tempting to play all these different tracks, but you've got to show restraint. You'll get good action, but it's a path to defeat. It's a path to defeat to play, tracks like Parks and Mahoning on Monday and Tuesday, or a lot of the smaller tracks, where on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday especially, it's a hornet's nest. It's a hornet's nest in those pools. So focus on the premium tracks. Focus on win betting, exactas and trifectas if you really like the race. And as far as pick 4s and pick 5s go, and this sounds real counter to logic, but I would try to avoid those bets just because a whole lot of advanced work and effort needs to go in to those bets in order to execute them well. And you're just walking into bets where the CAWs have this magic. I mean, I'm convinced that they're magical in pick 4s and pick 5s. It's been a very long time since I've played any pick fours and pick fives, and I did really well with them. Anyway, those are just my tips for betting in the CAW era. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you for watching.